We often talk about passion in the way that we talk about our hopes, our dreams, and what our purpose is in life. Therefore, passion is much like purpose. I talk extensively about this in my book, Be Gentle with Yourself. It all makes more sense than we think. Available in the description box below. Purpose is more mission-driven. Passion is more emotion-driven. Purpose is not limited to one single thing that we do for the rest of our lives here on this planet. It can be short-term or long-term, or both cyclically. Passion would be the emotional signal that lets us know when purpose is being fulfilled. This would make passion a very fluid state to be in. Like an emotion, it's energy in motion. I am very passionate about promoting the welfare of the human condition. I enjoy teaching, coaching, uplifting, inspiring, and sharing insights in ways that assist in the expansion of the human consciousness. After naturally neutralizing severe panic and anxiety in my own life and becoming an advocate for mental health, I was able to notice how humanitarianism had always been a theme in my life. Music was my first known path to purpose in expressing this passion. That opened up an unexpected door to becoming a content creator, and then authoring books followed. Ultimately, my purpose expanded into my work as a certified spiritual life coach. One would easily assume that because my passion was multi-purpose, I easily had multiple streams of income flowing in. This would assume that I was financially wealthy. And the truth is, I was not. In the novice stages of any passion we pursue as purpose, there is little or no money to afford at times basic human resources like proper food, clothing, hydration, shelter. Therefore, the privilege of any luxury conveniences was very limited. And for many like me, this was a challenge to fully accept. Two of the main reasons would be presentation and perception. One of the most common ways we have been convinced to build economic wealth and afford the lifestyle we like to live is to network and build relationships with those that are wealthy. In other words, present ourselves as worthy connections with the haves if we are one of the have-nots. On the surface, this is a genius level idea. Many of the ways to do this would be through attending charity events, conventions, seminars, webinars, invitation-only parties, or even event, public or private, that requires us to be visible and social. These events are often hosted by wealthy individuals, their friends, and or their associates. However, this often pressures us to perform aspects of ourselves that we think these wealthy individuals want to see. What is often overlooked here is that this would be a form of manipulation and a narcissistic trait. Narcissistic traits are very prevalent in our mainstream business model. Whether we are genuinely interested in them or not, whatever we must say, do, or be to boost a wealthy individual's ego is a part of the formula for getting into their good graces. The same tactic is applied to a wealthy individual in relation to a non-wealthy individual as well. Hence, the reason most interactions related to monetary economic wealth are transactional and performative. This means they are hardly ever transformational and interpersonal. If we are adventurous, this may feel like an exploration. If we're more reserved and restrained, this may feel like an exhausting chore. Overall, it would be a frustrating mix of both, which would result in us saying, doing, or being opposite of our sincerest authenticity in exchange for access to monetary economic wealth. That's transactional. Rather than saying, doing, or being who we sincerely are, whether we have access or not. That is a radical act of trust and faith in the wellspring of wealth and the abundance within us. On the surface, this idea sounds ridiculous, mainly because it does not fit into the go-getter formula of mainstream business. Therefore, in this case, anyone with monetary wealth that is meant to support us in any way bends effortlessly to meet us halfway without a frustrating split in energy for the good of all and the harm of none. That's transformative. What I had to begin reconciling in my novice stages was my relationship with the collective belief around money. At the onset of this, I was exploring the idea that I had limited beliefs around money itself, but I came to realize that I just simply lacked a clear awareness of who I was, what I was sincerely passionate about, and how I wanted to exist in the spaces I was in. Then, from that clarity, I was able to put money into a clearer perspective going forward. In the context of our way of life, the amount of money we have determines how much we can do and how much we get to do. Catch that. I had to make peace with the notion that although it's a thrill to be able to make lots of money, my passion was not just simply making lots of money. This sounds absurd and irresponsible in a capitalistic, materialistic society, the American dream. I was absorbing that judgment and putting pressure on myself to uphold the standard of being the responsible, upstanding citizen. Yet, it had always been a challenge for me to invest time and energy into a job or a project that I was not passionate about just to make the amounts of money sustainable enough to support what I was passionate about. Therefore, in many ways, I got lost in the details of not making any amount of money to afford the life I was meaning to live so that I could enjoy the work that I was passionate about. I was exhausted. It was a repeating cycle that kept yielding the result of me not being active in my passion. The reason, more specifically again, was that my passion was opposite of just simply making money. It is, moreover, very much possible to be active in jobs and careers that we are skillful in, yet not be completely passionate about the jobs and the careers themselves. However, the passion to reap the monetary rewards and gain financial wealth from it is usually more of the purpose. The reason more specifically here is that it gives the option to explore and invest in passion projects where the loss or the gain of any money would not compromise any lifestyle privileges received from the non-passionate job or career. I personally envied those kinds of individuals. To me, they were usually the ones who were huge advocates for the quote that loosely says, "You got to do what you need in order to get what you want." It seemed my needs in this context would represent my purpose and my wants would represent my passion. They were in a blended union in my life. That was my dream. Each time I attempted to separate the two, I hardly had the energy or the stamina to separately invest in and maintain either of the two. Therefore, it left me with lots of financial limits and setbacks. I had to ask myself, is it wise to monetize my passion so that my purpose could feel more sustainable? There are many that would advise against this idea. They say the moment you monetize your passion is the moment it declines as a passion. This idea to me would be strong enough to support those where the business venture itself is not the passion, but the process of making money from it is. This, however, would not be strong enough to support those like me where the business venture itself and the process of making money from it is the passion equally. It would then serve the purpose of expanding what I can do and what I get to do, not just within business, but within my personal life. As a spiritual life coach, author, and music artist, I was the business. To me, that is the centerpiece of a humanitarian. There's no separation between work and play. Work feels less like a chore that I've got to get done and more like a privilege that I get to do. That makes it fun and it keeps the passion alive in and out of season. But we cannot forget or even ignore what I like to call the novice stage blues of nurturing passion and purpose together. It comes right after the honeymoon phase, the bliss, the excitement, and the infatuation of realizing the passion. For me, the money I started making from my passions was very passive. It was nothing at all livable or sustainable. The pattern began a decade prior during my music artist journey. Most days I had no money and I had no clue when the next music gig would come, but I kept going and I made small progress. A decade later, as a life coach, I had no clue when my next paying client would appear, but I kept going and made small progress. Then, as a content creator, I had no clue when I would get my next brand deal, and the royalty checks from my books as a publishing author were pocket change. In each of the 4 seasons that were coming and going, I would get a sprinkle of financial relief, but it would be immediately met with an unforeseen drought. I was barely getting by, scraping together pennies on the dollar, barely able to satisfy my basic human amenities. The process to get any sustainable government assistance was extremely tedious for me. Any help from those connected to me and my family and friend circle were highly unreliable. I realized that the novice stage was where I was meant to be, and the constant blues was what I was meant to be experiencing. No one is exempt from this. If I was meant to be anywhere that I thought was more convenient and privileged, I would have been there instead. But then I would have most likely not have had the clarity that I had gained within the inconveniences, the setbacks, the delays, the unforeseen circumstances, the empty bank accounts, the empty cabinets, the breadcrumbs, and the mysterious ground of this right now moment. I had to get better at appreciating the ease of living moment to moment without any uneaseful plotting and planning to borrow the sun from tomorrow, only for it to end up giving gray skies today instead. They say follow your dreams. But what if, in the mystery of each moment, you feel you don't have a dream? What if your dream is to follow the path that has been laid out for you by someone else? What if the path that has been laid out for you has a lot of people, places, things, and ideas that don't resonate well with you? What is the point of following a dream that you're not quite sure is yours? To me, if we were to summarize the process of our human experience, we will be able to sum it up in 2 action verbs: following and dreaming. Then this leads to a cocktail of conflicting philosophies being thrown at us at every turn. Don't be a follower, be a leader. In order to lead, you must follow. Life is but a dream. Everything starts with a dream. The process of following something or someone gives the assumption that we do not have the capacity to lead ourselves. Would the dream then be to lead ourselves? This would assume a sense of ownership and individualism. Let us look closely at the nature of a dream, more specifically within the phrase, life is but a dream. What is a dream? To me, it is a thought or an idea that plays out in the mind like a movie. Dreams can be our subconscious thoughts that are highlighted from our conscious minds when we're asleep, as well as our conscious thoughts themselves when we're awake. Yet, if life is but a dream, are we sleepwalking through an awakened state, or are we wake walking through a dream, or both simultaneously? Stick with me here. I know it's a lucid question. They blur the lines between what is perceived to be real and not real. How does this relate to resolving survival mode patterns? A lot of our resolving can be accessed through the dream state. It is the non-physical state where all timelines, past, present, and future exist. Every person, place, thing, idea that reflects who we are in our physical present moment. Sleep or some form of meditation is a gateway into this state. Our conscious thinking minds have slowed down, our breathing is relaxed, but when we make the connection, a lot of thoughts, images, sounds can conjure up a lot of fear and limited thinking, making us feel trapped, lost, confused, and overwhelmed. And what we do is freeze, panic, and run away from it. Whether we are consciously or subconsciously aware of it, we're all dreamers. We're all dreaming, but we are all on different paths with different intentions toward making our individual dreams fully realized. Some of our personal dreams fit the mold of the already created dream we call the American dream or the all-inclusive human experience. Many others of our personal dreams do not fit those molds. This naturally causes an energetic split. This then amplifies the delays in their physical evidence. The delays can often feel like torture. They leave us with the option to make the best of the evidence around us while we anticipate the evidence of the dream we have been dreaming, as well as the steps we've been taking toward their realizations. This could sometimes feel like a dog going back to its own vomit, or getting a few steps closer only to get knocked several steps back. This is where the decibels of doubt are taken up a few notches. It is not that we do not believe our dreams can be fully realized. It's that we don't know the whys, the whens, or the hows. No matter how many positive spins we put out into the universe, doubt will always make an appearance here. It is inevitable. The intention is to get better at riding the waves of doubt, but while facing the doubt, we must be deliberate about getting back to our intentional center, the art of breathing deeply. Our breath is the most powerful life force in our physical bodies. It flows through the waves of the adrenaline pumping, heart racing pressure of doubt and the nerve regulating, heart steadying pace of anticipation. The intention in this flow is to see the physical evidence of the whys, whens, and hows. Seeing is knowing. However, we are in an ever-going ebb and flow with feeling the emotional evidence without seeing the physical evidence. Therefore, feeling is believing. Doubt is merely a side effect of believing. Yes, that means it's okay to doubt. We do not believe anything we see physically. We simply just know. Knowing affirms the comfort or the discomfort and the ease or the unease we've been feeling. It makes it easier to see things as they are and not what we feel or believe that they are. This also presents a challenge of committing to the internal expectations we have when we see and know externally is the opposite of our internal expectations. We like to believe we will be driven passionately toward achieving the life and lifestyle of our intentional expectations or our dream. It sounds great in concept, but the uncertainty of our physical world, our external expectations, often clash with each other in that process. We tend to deal with seen and unforeseen setbacks, delays, opposition, and resistance in ways we may not feel as intensely if we were driven passionately toward achieving someone else's dream. What this means is we must look closely at how committed we are to our own dreams, our own internal expectations. Our commitment to our dreams usually reveals that they are not only bigger than who we individually are, but they connect us more with who we are collectively and the benevolent possibilities of who we are all becoming. Becoming who we've been meaning to be is an act of unbecoming who we've been taught to be. This is an ever-going process. Rather than looking at this as an obstacle, let us use this as an opportunity to assess the nature of our dreams. Our dreams are either a reflection of our sincerest authenticity and wholeness, or they are accommodating someone else's dream for us. When it is someone else's dream for us, that is the opportunity to bring into focus our own dream. When our sincerest authenticity is in clear focus and the inevitable delays, setbacks, and disappointments intercept this focus, then this would be an opportunity to assess whether we are focusing more on the absence of our dream or the presence of it. When our focus is on the absence, we are easily triggered, frustrated, and we are susceptible to complaining about what is not going our way. Additionally, it causes us to spiral down the worst case scenario. That's the opportunity to pause and ground ourselves in the present moment. When we are consistently fully present, we are often in gratitude mode. This means we are thinking and living from the state of having our dreams fully realized. When we're in gratitude mode and we're still experiencing delays, setbacks, and disappointments, then we must honor the energetic delays in this process. We also like to use the metaphor that life is a school. It teaches us the lesson and it is up to us to learn them. But often you don't see what you're being taught. What you're being taught is telling you what to see. This challenges that metaphor. It allows space to operate as a teacher now. So if we are simultaneously the teacher and the student, then there's nothing to learn. We're simply being reminded of what we already know so that we can reimagine and recreate something different out of what has already been done before. This then means that the magnitude of what we're reimagining and recreating is so different that it's not going to fit into the conventions of what's traditional. In other words, the people, places, and things that are meant to assist in bringing our dreams into a physical reality must rise to meet the occasion, and many times they're not readily available. The more we tap into the energetic, the emotional stream of the dreams we desire to be fully realized, we become the trailblazer. We become the path paving itself, the journey unfolding itself. We become the mystery coming into form, the sole architect of what it looks like to exist and live in a different way on this planet. When we commit to following that dream, we make room for our dreams to adjust to and, in their own time, become physically realized. This was a lot to talk about, but I am glad you stuck with me up until this point. And so I encourage you to go back, rewatch, and process what's been said here. Things are shifting on this planet in a very big way. This means take time to digest the bigness of what I'm sharing here, to posture yourself to be comfortable to hold space for what's to come. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with someone that you love and care about. In the meantime, in between time, be kind and gentle with yourself and make the most of this right now moment and the right now moments to come.